Assalamualaikum and good afternoon. Welcome to Zaid Ibrahim Podcast. Today we have a special guest, my friend Dr. Ahmad Farouk Musa,
Yes.
a medical doctor and also an academician. And he founded this think tank, the Islamic Renaissance Front. So today we are going to talk a bit more about Islam and in relation to the position in the country. As we know, the political Islam is very strong in Malaysia. When I say strong, means it's always been there since so long as I remember in our politics. So I have a few issues that I want to raise with you, Doc.
Yeah.
That I think will be of interest to the public.
Yes.
Yeah. And okay, I want to start by first, if you can introduce yourself. What is your Islamic Renaissance Front? What does it do?
Oh, okay. Assalamualaikum. Basically, we are a think tank, like what you said. It's different from NGO. Like some people like to call us NGO, but we are not. We are a think tank. Meaning to say that there's a clear demarcation between a think tank and NGO. We don't do humanitarian work like NGOs. That's the most important thing. The most important part is that we don't do any humanitarian work, so we are not an NGO. So we are purely a think tank, and basically over the years we have conducted a lot of forums, seminars, conferences, and we have published more than 20 books. We have translated more than 20 books, and we have published at least original 3 books of ours. 2 books were banned by the Home Minister before, and 1 book translated by us, by Mustafa Akyol, was banned as well. So 3 books altogether. It was banned, I think, during that time. Zaid Hamidi was the Home Minister, but we fought the case. We lost in the High Court. But then we went to the Court of Appeal and we won the case against the government at that time. Of course, it was, some people might say it was academic because we have already sold all our books. It was sold out. So, I mean, it didn't matter whether we took the case to court or not. But I think on our principle that we have to fight against this, because I think it was the government at the time was trying to curtail what we call as freedom of expression by using this Printing Press Act and all kind of things. They say that in their basically what you call reasons for banning the books was that the books in Malay was stated as menggemparkan pemikiran masyarakat. So it means that it terrorized the what they call the minds of the people. And I do not understand what was the meaning of that. Like menggemparkan, it was a big word. Menggemparkan.
I think it's a compliment to your organization.
I don't know, but
because if you don't gempar your mind, then nothing works.
Yeah. But that's the thing. I mean, the thing I saw at that time was that, like that book by Mustafa Akyol, right? It was not banned. The English book was not banned, but the Malay book,
the Malay version,
translation was banned. Meaning to say, in my opinion, was that the government was trying to streamline the way of thinking of the Malays, that they think only in one specific way that the government wanted them to think, and cannot think out of it.
Yeah.
When they read these kind of books that could open their mind and a way of thinking and to be more critical of whatever it is, the government and Islam and everything. So meaning to say that that was what they meant by menggemparkan. And I think it clearly shows that like the government was scared. for the Malays to have an open mind. Yeah.
I think you're right. They are very wary of new
Yes.
ideas or openness, and they want to control the Malays. They have been doing that for many years. In fact, I think that's the crux of our education system. Not the crux, but that some of the main drivers are towards that. Now, I need to ask you a bit more about the core reform that you would like to see. I know you're involved in what they call the reform movement in Islam, Islah,
Yes.
and the renewal,
Yes.
Tajdid.
Yes.
What do you do to achieve this?
Well, as I think I followed the footsteps of Imam Muhammad Abduh in the early 20th century, when he promoted and his colleague, basically his superior, his mentor, Jamaluddin Al-Afghani. I believe you must have heard of them.
Yes.
Both Afghani and Abduh, I think they spearheaded the movement of reform in the Islamic world, because at that time and even now, what they saw at that time was that the Muslims were basically left behind because of the way of thinking of the Malays, of the Muslims.
Yes.
And Abduh, when he went to Europe, to France, and he came back to Egypt, and he said, I went to Europe and I saw Islam there. I came back to Egypt. I saw only Muslims but without Islam. Meaning to say that the spirit of what the Islamic teaching is all about can be seen in Europe but not in a Muslim country. We see Muslims but we don't see Islam. So that was the situation then, and I think that we have the similar situation now.
Yes, I quite clearly, like as I said earlier, the political Islam in the country here. Both Bas and UMNO and the other Malay leaders, they don't really highlight the essence of Islam, the spirit or the values, I think. They focus more on rituals and also whatever that, as you know, will make them look like the defender of, like recently, I remember the statement from Zaid Hamidi, the Deputy Prime Minister. He said he's going to bring 24,000 students, Tahfiz students, together as the gathering, mass gathering, to show the commitment of the government to Islam. Now, this is sort of gimmick, I think, that is the trend, or at least that is what the government has been doing over the years. Symbolic manifestation of Islam. How do you overcome this?
Well, as I said, the government, they were trying to out-Islamize PAS. I think this issue has been going on for many years. For ages, right? And we have heard, even the government, the Barisan National government before this, they're trying to out-Islamize PAS as well. And now that we know that the PH is not gaining any support from the Malays or the Muslims in this country, so they tried to show that they're more Islam than PAS. And that's a problem that we're facing nowadays. Because basically, I think it shows that even if they're trying to congregate 25,000 Hufaz, for example, and they would incur a lot of money. I believe that money could be spent wisely on poor people, on education, on erecting new schools, hospitals, and stuff like that. But I don't know why we are spending a lot of money on these kind of things, which did not bring any benefit at all. Similarly, as inviting those Habibs from abroad.
Inviting Habibs, what?
Habibs, the what they call the preachers, the Sufi masters, to come, and in fact even to Sri Perdana I mean, I've seen like several times they were invited to Sri Perdana. I spoke about it with Mufti of Perlis. I mean, why he didn't advise the Prime Minister about this, and he said, you know what he said? He said the PM is a politician. Anwar is a politician, so he will do anything that could benefit him instead of trying to benefit Islam. That's the situation. Like I think we have a problem. I think we have a real problem with our society.
And yet, PAS seems to be holding the Malays
Yes.
a lot better than these people,
yes.
UMNO and Anwar.
Yes.
Why is that?
The thing is that past ideas are very simple. Like and they live a simple life. And people like that. People don't like this ostentatious lifestyle and stuff like that. And I think that like the narrative by PAS is more palatable to the Muslims, to the Malay Muslims in our country, as compared to what the current government is trying to do. And this what we call marriage, unholy marriage between the three, did not well. It is quite unpalatable to the Muslims, to the Malay Muslims on the ground, because they did not see a sincere effort on the side of the government in trying to how do I say defend the rights of the Malay Muslims in this country, and to uphold the Islamic doctrines or what PAS have been saying, trying to establish an Islamic state and stuff like that. So there's no counter narrative by the government. The government should come up with an idea of what kind of government that, or what kind of state that they want. This is, they're lost in the narrative.
But I don't see PAS as any more progressive,
Yeah.
Okay, the lifestyle, I agree what you're saying, that they are more in touch with the reality in the ground. They mix around with the people. They interact better, I think, between leaders and followers. But their doctrine or their decision policies, to me, I mean, for example, the latest one is that they want to segregate the stadium in Terengganu.
Yeah.
And then, in Terengganu again, if you have a female voice in a quail or temple, that also be prohibited.
Yeah.
But, I mean, does Islam do this? Because I remember, this is very vague recollection. During the Prophet's time, when in the early days, or even in the later years in Spain, Muslim and non-Muslim, there's no problem. But where does this come from? These conservative, extreme ideas?
I think it evolved through years. Yeah, over the years, I think this thing evolved. You're right to say that like there were no clear demarcations between these ideas about women should be separated from men and stuff like that. And I think it evolved over the years, and I think that like how do I say it? People thought that doing certain things you become more Islamic, and I think some people believe that the more stricter you are, the more Islamic you are, and that's the issue. Meaning to say that because Islam actually preaches moderation, right, in everything, and I think there's scholars nowadays, modern scholars, should come up with their own interpretation of what Islam should be, rather than following the what do you call the conservatives' ideas.
But the scholars are all funded by government.
That's the issue. That's the issue. They have to be independent scholars.
Are there? I mean, except for your group and a few.
Yeah, I think best because we have been promoting the ideas that even muftis should not be funded by the government. In that way, they are more independent.
Muftis are supposed to be independent
Yeah,
in Islamic history.
but they're not. Unfortunately, yeah. That's why we have seen like a lot of things being said were basically skewed in a way, right? They were not. They, I mean, we cannot consider those views to be independent views of Muslim scholars. We believe that some of the views were either slanted towards the opposition or slanted towards the government, and that's not good for Islam.
Okay, we're going to take a short break, short break, but then later on we'll continue with this, the subject of the development of Islam
Yep.
in the country.
Can I do it?
Thank you.
Thank you.